We just went ahead and watched Upside Down, the movie, yesterday. So we're just gonna give some feedback, some thoughts about that movie, because it does have some really interesting premises.
I come from the only known solar system with two twin planets, each with its own and opposite gravity. Now in our world, it's possible to fall up and to rise down.
Starring Jim Sturgis and who plays Adam in the movie, and Kristen Dunst, Mary Jane from Spider-Man. She plays Eden. And basically, it's a romance movie about two people from different worlds falling in love.
So the interesting thing about this movie, basically the whole premise, is that you've got these two worlds. You've got one world is called Up Top, and it's up top naturally, and you've got another world called Down Below. Now the interesting thing is that these two worlds are basically upside down relative to each other, and they're at a distance of a couple kilometers away from each other, so people from down below can actually see stuff that's going on up top, and they can actually see the buildings if they look straight up. And the interesting thing is that mass from one end, for example down below or up top, is only affected by the gravity from that direction. So if I was born down below, my mass will only be attracted to the force of gravity that is pushing me down towards the down below side. Same for up top. And basically these two worlds don't interact.
We don't go down to their world, and we certainly don't want them coming up to ours.
And a lot of the interesting parts of the movie come about when, people, things, objects begin to interact that are from these two different worlds. And these happen to be the two lovers that we're talking about in this movie.
Order, please!
Come on!
Quick, Adam!
So the main issue with this movie is that it introduces a lot of potentially unnecessary physics premises that really just serve to contradict. So one of the biggest interesting mechanics about this movie is that matter in contact with inverse matter burns or explodes, or basically it burns on contact.
Mr. Kirk? Yes. Here's the key to your personal refrigeration system. And here's your very first allocation of inverse matter. Okay, great. Be careful, without cooling it gets hot very fast.
So this actually brings about a lot of different problems. How it's implemented in the movie is basically to introduce a time limit for Adam to stay up top, where he tries to find his long lost love, Eden. He basically straps himself with a bunch of mass from up top, and this is where things get really interesting.
These weights will hold you down in their world. Take them off when you want to come back.
He creates this suit which allows him to walk on upper world to find his lost love. But when he does that, there are some inconsistencies. For example, one, when you're upside down, your blood is going to be rushing to your head, and normal person can survive for about 30 minutes before passing out.
It's not long, no.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of fighter pilots experience. It's a red out, basically.
Just imagine being hung upside down for a prolonged time.
Yeah, okay, that's one flaw. Another flaw is hair. Gravity is always going to be pushing. Gravity for him is always going to be
Pulling him down.
So his
side.
hair
Yeah.
would always be, should always be standing up if he was on upper world.
No, the thing that I have an issue with is that these laws of physics need to be universal. It seems that the director only picked certain things to which these laws apply to. For example, there's one scene where to show the viewers, to show the cinema audience that hey, even though Adam is up top, he's still being affected by his version of gravity, which is pulling him down below. And basically, there's one scene where he enters the bathroom, and he just decides to take a leak at the urinal, and his piss goes upwards. And if you just continue this logical train of thought, same is going to happen to his blood, to his hair, and yet to us he just seems pretty normal when he's up top. It's just his his pee. That's all that seems to be affected. So obviously there's a lot of inconsistencies here with the whole idea of gravity and how mass can be used to counteract its inverse form of mass to create some sort of anti-gravity effect, or basically to keep Adam up top. Imagine bungee jumping, but having the rope attached to a vest around you, and then just staying at the end of your bungee rope upside down for 2 hours straight while talking to people and walking and catching cabs
and eating.
And eating.
I can't believe it.
Everybody up against the wall.
I gotta go.
No.
I'll find you.
And that's basically what Adam does up top. It completely defies any sense of universal application to physics. And there's one scene where Adam's shoes and shirt basically start burning because he's been in contact with inverse matter for a couple hours now. And so to fix this, he decides to hurl himself into the nearest body of water, which happens to be what looks to be an ocean in the trailer. And basically he removes some of the weights that are holding him up top and his shoes, and this basically flips his weight balance, and so now he's attracted to down below, and he actually uses this to basically just fly up, down actually, just flies up out of the ocean and heads back down below where he actually falls into the ocean. So basically we're talking about going from one end to the other, free falling. And how he manages to do this without breaking every single bone in his body and dying and subsequently becoming fish food is just completely irrational. So the major thing with the movies is it's a pretty good movie for what it is, which is a romance movie first and foremost. And if you're willing to look past a lot of the flaws in just the general mechanics of the movie, it's a pretty good movie. But apart from that, it does seem like the director only applied these mechanics of his to select elements, select people, just to put a point across, but failed to think about the ramifications in general about the universe, its people, its inhabitants, and how his laws of physics would affect them as well.
Oh yeah, the script's kind of cheesy, but whatever. It's a romance movie.
Do you live nearby?
Me? No, God no. I have a really long commute.
I mean, I'm a physicist, but if I'm willing to look past a lot of the flaws, it's a pretty decent movie. Innovative concept. Definitely haven't seen that before.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it didn't feel. There were cheesy parts, there were cliche parts, but it balanced out the sci-fi, which didn't make sense. But whatever.
Yeah, I think the premise deserves a lot of credit. Like the movie makes a point to the audience to establish these various laws.
Yeah, that's
and then contradict itself in the end.
Exactly. It's like they're saying these are the laws. This is what governs this universe, this movie. This is what happens that follows. But it actually doesn't work out so well that way. If you think about it, two worlds in such close contact with only a thin building to support them, it's just completely ludicrous if you actually sit down and think about it.
So yeah, guys, that was our review of Upside Down. What if love was stronger than gravity?